Ambitious women, entrepreneurs are beginning a movement to create a new way of business that focuses on collaboration and community. Together, we are shaping the way by using our intuition, our inner insight, and our creativity. Join us for inspiration, motivation, and transformation. This is your host, Luci McMonagle, and this is the Wealthy Wednesday Show. A special thanks to Gordon Reary for creating the music. You can find him on Facebook under Gordon Reary. So now, let's get started. Hey, welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday Show. This is your host, Luci McMonagle, and today I am really excited. I have a dear friend and an incredible lady who's on the show today who's going to help you downsize if you're looking to really organize your life and become more profitable and more synced with your possessions and with your ability to move forward in your life, because sometimes we get so much clutter in our life that we feel overwhelmed just simply walking into a room. Or you might even know somebody, maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your friends, who like to collect things. And when you would like to help them, this lady, Sharon McRill, will be able to help you understand how you're going to be able to move forward and help other people, plus help yourself. And not only that, she has an incredible book coming out. So make sure you grab your pen, you grab your paper, because Sharon helps to help very busy people get things done. And today she's going to give you some tips and strategies on how you can get things done with ease and with grace in your life. So welcome to the show, Sharon.
Thanks, Lucy. I'm so happy to be here.
Wow, you are a savior, in my opinion. And I honestly wish, when I was sorting through a very good friend's stuff who was no longer able to take care of their possessions, that I had your ability, I had your help, because there was truckloads and truckloads and truckloads of stuff that I had to bring to the charity. In fact, they asked us not to come back again. That's scary. That's so scary when a charity says, please do not come back again. And it's not that, it wasn't just us. It's like everybody just decided to dump everything at this particular charity. So their warehouse was like filled to the ceiling and they showed us. So it's like, there's nothing personal. But really, somebody like you is really helpful. And you have Betty Brigade. Could you tell us a little bit on when does somebody need Betty Brigade, and how exactly do you help individuals become more organized and get things done?
Right. So thanks for asking. So when does somebody need Betty Brigade? Well, in
Yes.
my opinion, everybody needs Betty Brigade all the time. But very specifically, people need help when they're feeling overwhelmed, when they're feeling like, I don't know where to go next, or I just physically cannot do this myself. Like, for example, we had a client last summer and their mother was a hoarder, and they had cleaned out 5 storage units. And what was left was a house, a 5-bedroom house that their mom had also used as a storage unit. So imagine having to clear out all these storage units and then still have a house in front of you. And they just said, it was a brother and sister, and they said, you know what, we're done. We cannot look at one more thing. We've lived with this hoarding situation our whole lives, and we're finished. And so they said, we want your team to do it, and we were able to complete their project. But sometimes it's people who haven't moved in maybe 20, 30, 40 years, and they're not hoarders. They've just accumulated so much stuff that they don't know what to do with it all. They don't know where it goes. They don't know how to manage it. And they don't know how to decide what is important to them, what they want to keep for themselves, and what they want to give away.
Wow. Wow. So somebody who's looking at all this stuff, they might have been in the house for 10, 20 years, and now they're ready to do something about it, to get things done. How do you even begin the process of deciding what's important and what's not important?
Well, the first thing is to really look at your stuff. Look at the things that mean something to you and that touch your heart. So, like for example, and the practical stuff. So, like you're going to need dishes, right? And so you would hold on to your favorite set of dishes. And it may be that, and we've had clients who have this, they maybe have 6 sets of dishes. And we say, okay, so you don't get to keep 6 sets of dishes because you're moving into a 1-bedroom apartment and you've lived in this big house. And you're not going to entertain in the same way that you have entertained over the last 25 years. So let's really decide what is your favorite set. And sometimes their favorite set is not their everyday dishes. Sometimes the favorite set is maybe their grandmother's china, and we really encourage them to use the china. It's like, well, what good is it doing anybody in a box?
Mm-hmm.
It's just sitting there. So, like, here's this favorite set of dishes in the attic in a box. Well, bring it out, use it. Like that's actually one of the things that we really encourage people to do is use the things you love. Keep the things you love, and that's step 1. Step 2 is, okay, so now that you've kept the things you love, do you have enough room to manage all the stuff that you love? And and frankly, we've had people who say, I love everything, I want to keep everything, and that's not realistic. So, so it's about saying, okay, what's the new space you have? And what do you love? And is there stuff that could go to other family members, maybe that you love it, but it will stay in the family? And then what? And then after that, what's left?
Yes. Wow. Wow, that really helps it become a little more bite-sizable. Is looking at, what can you give to the family members?
Hmm.
If you really, really love it, you don't want to really part with it. That's fabulous. And for the family members that actually are dealing with people who are hoarders, could you tell us what really constitute a hoarder compared to somebody who's just collected stuff throughout the years?
Right. So a hoarder is actually a clinical designation of someone who they have a mental, I don't want to call it a disorder, but it's a mental situation where they cannot let go of things. Like
Oh.
if you put something in the trash, they will take it back out because, and they will, and then there will be anguish around that. There will be a real lack of letting things go. Hoarders often even struggle throwing away their trash, the things that most of us see as the stuff that needs to go to the curb every week.
Mhm.
Hoarders will struggle with that.
Oh, wow. Wow. That that really gives you a whole new perspective on the difference between somebody who just likes to collect stuff and then a hoarder. And for the individuals who like to collect stuff, such as multiple hobbies,
Hmm.
multiple things, and you're looking at a wall that's now become basically a wall with shelves, and you
Hmm.
have these knickknacks and those knickknacks, and it's like there's this wall of knickknacks and there's this wall of knickknacks, and so they're not quite a hoarder because they throw away the everyday stuff. But how do you help individuals like that?
Right. So that's actually a great question, and most people don't ask that question. And so thank you for asking it because it adds a different layer to what we're about to talk about. So hoarders really struggle with letting go of anything, and but there's another level down from that, and it's what we call hoarding tendencies. And
Mm.
and what that means is that it's someone who holds on to lots and lots of stuff. They're still okay with throwing out the trash every week, they're still okay with letting things go, but it has to be pointed out to them, or they have to be pushed a little bit to let go of those things. And often those folks with hoarding tendencies are not hoarders, but if they're not given some direction or told, hey, look, your house is really getting out of control, there's nowhere to walk, there's nowhere to sit, then they don't recognize it. They just see it as their collection. And so you kind of have to point that stuff out to them, and then it comes up and they go, oh, okay, maybe I should sell a few things. Maybe I shouldn't have 4 copies of that Batman thing in the box. I could only keep 2. And so it's really, it then becomes just a conversation. And often people with hoarding tendencies do have extreme collections. And often people walking in from the outside do see them as hoarders, but they are not hoarders in the classic traditional diagnosable sense, because they will let go of things.
Wow. Oh, and that probably eases a lot of the individuals who are listening to this. It's like, oh, thank goodness. They're
It
not a
doesn't mean
true
it doesn't mean they don't have too much stuff.
Oh, no, it doesn't mean they don't have too much stuff, but at least there's a way you can approach them and say, hey, dad or mom or whomever, best friend, you've got a lot of stuff and there's no place to walk, or there's places to walk, but there's no wall space.
Right. And one of the conversations that you can have with them is, what if you were able to reclaim a little bit of this money, not all of it, but a little bit of it, and it would go to somebody who would really love it. And all of a sudden it then becomes, it's not my kids are trying to get rid of my stuff. It's, it could go to somebody who would really appreciate it as much as I do, and I could make a little money back.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's definitely a writer downer.
Mm-hmm.
And
A writer downer.
yes, write it down. And that's really helpful, because when you start helping these individuals to see it like somebody else is going to be able to love this too, and you're going to get a little bit of money back from it. In some of the hoarders, or the not quote unquote true hoarders, but some of the collectors that I've known, they were always afraid that if they let go of the quote unquote item, that it might be worth some money in the future, such as a certain comic book collection, or seashells, or toy cars, or coins, or something. What if they have that belief system where they think, oh, this might raise up in value? How do you handle that if their collection is kind of starting to go out the door?
Mm-hmm. So one of the things we do is we'll bring in an outside source to help them value what they have. So so we work with all different levels of different consignment dealers. We have eBay dealers, we have antique dealers, coins, stamps, guns, jewelry, art. So we're going to bring in a dealer that can actually tell the client directly to their face, look, this is what this is worth, and you should hang on to it, because it's it's going to go up in value if that's something you're concerned about.
Uh-huh.
Or they will tell them, this is something you should hang on to because it's not worth anything, it's only sentimental. Or they say, here's the value that it's worth, and it's not ever going to go up because there is a glut of stuff on the market. And that's what we're seeing, and that's actually what I'm writing my book about, is that with the baby boomers, as they're aging, there is this enormous, and I mean, we'll call it a tsunami because that's what my book is about, a tsunami of stuff that is about to hit the market. And it's just starting now. This is like the very beginning of it, that consignment dealers, antique dealers, like everything is dropping in value because the amount of stuff that's about to hit the market is enormous.
Wow. I can see that. I can really see that happening, because I've had to clean out other people's stuff. And it was gut-wrenching, because they were in so much anguish and I didn't know what to say to them. So I have a little bit of experience on that. But for you, for the the Betty Brigade, and I really like the way that you're explaining. There's experts that can tell you if this stuff is going to go up in value. There's experts that can tell you if it's worthless, but sentimental value. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to say the W word in front of them with sentimental at the same time. And
Well,
then,
that's, frankly, that's what it is. And what happens is that their kids come in and say, let's put it all in the dumpster. And that's not the right approach either.
no, that's not a good approach either. That really isn't. Because but it's just too much stuff. And for you, is there any certain things that Betty Brigades won't do when they're coming to like clean out a house, or they're helping a family,
Mhm.
or something? Is there something that your company doesn't do?
Well, there's a couple of things. One of them is if we're working directly with a hoarder, like the hoarder is still physically living in the house, we actually request that the hoarder be in therapy because we need somebody to work on what's going on up here. And
Yeah.
we will work on their stuff. That's the easy part. The stuff is
Mhm.
the easy part. But what's going on between their ears, that's where the challenge is. And if we clear it out and nobody is helping them with it emotionally, it will fill right back up. So we
Mhm.
have therapists that we will recommend, and this is a fine line because you walking into somebody's house and saying you need therapy is not is not always a great approach. Um,
That's true.
so so we typically say to the family members, we work with hoarders and we're happy to, but we also request that they be in some sort of counseling situation. And the family members go, oh, do you have anybody? And we say, yes, we do. Here's a list of therapists that you can contact. And once we've gotten confirmation that your family member is in therapy, then we can sign a contract with you.
Wow. I didn't even know there was therapists that could help with such conditions, or
Yeah,
to
there's
help people transition that emotionally.
yeah, people that help with compulsive shopping and with hoarding, and those are actually two different things. Compulsive shopping is people who are trying to fill a hole in their life by shopping, and
Mhm.
they end up with tons of new stuff. And you see this all the time, where you walk into a house and they have stacks and stacks of stuff, brand new in the box, or clothing with tons of tags on it, and they never open it again.
Oh, yes, I do know of an individual that's like that, and
Hmm.
it's like it was Christmas every day.
Hmm.
The internet has allowed compulsive shoppers to do it safely,
Hmm.
in a strange kind of way. So,
And sometimes all they're looking for is that instant gratification of something showing up at their door, or sometimes they're looking for the companionship of the UPS driver or the FedEx driver to show up and have a conversation with them. It might be that simple,
oh
which
wow,
is kind of sad.
that is really sad. Absolutely. And can you specify what niche do you fill in?
Um, well, we do specialize in hoarders, but one of the areas that we also work in, that's our favorite area to work, is in trusts. So, what
Mm.
that means is after someone has passed away, the family members they come in and they take the things they want, and then there's still all this stuff left in the house. So, how do you get that house on the market with that still might have 30 years of stuff in it in a timely way? And people in today's society are so busy. They might live in other states, and maybe mom died and everybody lives in Colorado, or and mom lived in, say, Maine. And so it would be a real hard thing to continually travel back and forth between Maine and Colorado, or even to take 2 weeks off of work to spend your vacation time cleaning out mom's house. So that's the kind of thing that we do.
Wow. So speaking of Denver and Maine and stuff, are you location specific, or do you help everybody in the United States? Or if somebody needed your services, is there places that you work in or don't work in?
So currently, we're in Michigan, and we've been in Michigan the last 14 years, but we're about to branch out. So in 2018, we'll be going nationwide, and so that people can call us anywhere, and we'll be able to send a team of 2 Bettys, and that's how we identify our staff members as Bettys, and so that team of Bettys will then line up the vendors that need to come into that house from a local point of view. So if we need a junk hauler, if we need cleaning, if we need real estate, if we need real estate agents, I'm sorry. I speak sometimes in abbreviations because I'm so used to being in this world. If we need consignment dealers, we're able to find all of those different vendors locally through our wide network of people and help make that project happen quickly.
Wow. Wow. So could you tell us a little bit about, you mentioned earlier the Silver Tsunami, which I think
Silver Tsunami.
could you tell us a little bit about your book?
Mhm.
And also, that'll help individuals when your book comes out. And can you tell us, how can individuals get a hold of you?
Sure. So the book is specifically about what we were talking about earlier, and that's this glut of stuff. And what we find most often is that people are debilitated by what are the next steps? How do you manage all this? How do you who do you call? Where does the stuff go? And so the book kind of lays all of that out in very simple terms so that the average person can just follow along, and if they want to do it themselves, absolutely. But what they'll see is that it can be a logistical nightmare because there's so many moving pieces to disassembling a house. And if you've done it, you know that it's a lot of work. And so my team is experts in the average 2,000 square foot house. We can have it from nothing packed to completely ready to be listed and on the market in about 10 business days. So that's a very, very short amount of time to be able to recoup that real estate investment. And so, so it's really about valuing your time. And the book is about understanding that there are business people that need to be brought in. Like, do you need an attorney? Do you need a CPA? Do you need a real estate agent? Do you need project managers like Betty Brigade? And what are the other resources? What does it take to have an estate sale? Most estate sellers will not even have a sale unless there's $6,000 gross in the house. So there's lots of little things that if you don't work in this world on a regular basis, and most people don't, there's a lot to know.
Absolutely. There is so much to know. And even if you're just downsizing
Mm-hmm.
to a smaller house, or maybe your kids are growing up and now you're getting ready to move into a smaller area, or you might be locating long distance, this will truly help. And how can individuals get a hold of you if they're ready to downsize, or they have a hoarding situation, or they just need some help?
Right. So the simplest way is to visit our website, which is bettybrigade.com. And there is, right on our website, there's a tab called Contact Us, and you can fill out a form and tell us about you. And that form goes directly to our front office, and they contact you usually within 24, but sometimes 48 hours if it's over a weekend. And so we reach back out to you and just say, okay, so here's what we need from you for next steps. If you're local, it's a in-person consultation. If you're not local, we ask you to take pictures, and we're able to do the estimate based on pictures, and we call that a non-binding estimate.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And that's bettybrigade.com, and that's BettyBrigade.com.
Yay, you got it right.
Fabulous. And that's for the individuals who are listening to the podcast. Sometimes the sound doesn't always come through clearly. And is there anything else that you would like to leave our audience with? I mean,
you've given us so many tips on how to work with the downsizing, what's the difference between the hoarders and the individuals who have compulsive shopping, compared to the languaging. How do you talk with these people? If they're this type or that types. But is there any specific tips you'd like to leave our audience with? And
so start with some low-hanging fruit. Like, there's no reason for you to be keeping paperwork and files from the 50s and 60s and 70s. Shred that stuff. Get rid of it. But here's what I'm going to say, because there's a caveat to that. People often stick stuff in those files. So go through them. Make sure that there's no birth or death certificates or marriage certificates. Make sure that there isn't stock certificates. We found a lot of old stock certificates that are worth money. So make sure you're not just doing a blanket shred. Get rid of the stuff that you know for sure is not valued, like Tupperware that doesn't have matching lids. That is a really easy thing to just say, okay, I'm ready to recycle this. Get rid of the old medication. Pharmacies recycle it all the time. That's a great place to take it. So those are the kinds of low-hanging fruit. And get rid of the things, or have family members come take the things that are special to them. That's after those kind of easy things are done, that's when it's a great time to call a professional organizer and say, okay, we've done this. Now what's the next steps?
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And just those little low-hanging fruit items, that'll help free up so much mental exhaustion, knowing, okay, I only have to take care of the old medications, bring them to the pharmacy, they'll recycle, or not recycle them, but they'll take care of where they need to go. Don't flush them down the toilet, ladies, gentlemen. Please don't do that. Bring them to the pharmacy, recycle the Tupperware or the things that don't have covers or tops. There's all kinds of places you can recycle stuff. And then for the like maybe for the old newspapers, after you've made sure there's no stock certificates in them or other birth certificates, death certificates, shred them, get rid of them, donate them to an animal shelter or something if it's newspaper, and get rid of the old documents for the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and therefore, wow. Really good tips. Sharon, I want to thank you so much. I mean, I am so grateful, and I really truly understand that everything you've given is so valuable, because when I went through those experiences, there was literally $10,000 or more dollars that I left on the table that I found out afterwards because I didn't know who to call. The companies I called that quote unquote, they said that they would, they knew how to value the stuff that I was giving them, and then they lost the paperwork, and they weren't really a reputable company. And it was just a nightmare trying to get rid of this huge 3,100 square foot house, plus all of the storage bins, and every single cabinet was filled to the gill. So if I would have had your tips right there, life would have been much easier.
Well, and I just want to mention, one of the things that we do a little differently than some other companies like you've mentioned is we do not take a percentage or a kickback or any referral fee from any of the vendors we work with. So when our clients are selling their things, the consignment dealer takes their percentage because that's how they make money. But You're paying Betty Brigade a flat rate to manage the whole project and get it done for you. So you know what that cost is up front. And we also kind of outline, here are all of the vendors that you will need to get this project done, so that you know the full extent of what your project will cost you.
Yes. Wow. And that's really helpful, because then you really know and you can trust that, hey, this little 1945 coin, is it worth something? Is it not worth something? Oh, I found this strange little thing. Is it worth something? What is it? It could be a medallion from World War I that they don't make them.
Right. Or it could be something from a Cracker Jack box that's worth $0.25.
That's true. That's true. Wow, Sharon, this has been fabulous. And again, individuals can get a hold of you at bettybrigade.com. They can fill out the contact form, and they can also go to your website. And as soon as your book hits the market, it will be on your website front and center. People will be able to find it.
Yep, we'll be sometime in the next month or so, we'll be setting up pre-orders on the website. So by August 1st, I think, we'll be setting up pre-orders. So, and the book will be coming out in early 2018.
Fabulous. Fabulous. So you'll be able to go to your website, get your pre-orders for your book before it comes out. That's absolutely amazing. So thank you, Sharon. I appreciate you being on the Wealthy Wednesday show, and we're finished. So I want to thank my audience. You have been such a blessing to me. I really, truly appreciate you. And I want to say, if there's any topics you want me to touch upon, if there's any topics that you would like to hear about, please let me know. Go to the Wealthy Wednesday show on Facebook and drop me a line. So until next time, abundant blessings. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Wealthy Wednesday show. This is your host, Luci McMonagle, and I would love to keep in touch with you by giving you a very special gift that will help you move your business and your life forward. You can access this special gift I am giving to you at my website at lucimcmonagle.com. That's LuciMcMonagle.com for keeping in touch with me and getting access to a gift that will help you move your business and life forward. Until next time, abundant blessings.